Hi, are you that 16% of my audience that are women, and some of those who love Ed Sheeran? Are you that small minority of men? Or majority? I actually don't know what his demographics are. But nonetheless, are you of those people who are fans of the ginger one, the newest and brightest singer-songwriter in British popular music? Well, I'll have you know, according to Playboy, he has a rather terrible toxic masculinity problem. Yes, Ed Sheeran, one of the most blandest, most saccharine, just there, middle of the road singer-songwriters, has a toxic masculinity problem. I mean, Ed Sheeran. I wish I was making this up, people, but apparently, according to Playboy, he has a toxic masculinity problem. I mean, Ed Sheeran, really? I mean, look at his tattoos in this article. Is that toxic masculinity or just terrible drawings? I mean, it looks like a kid did his tattoos, but hey, look, all that is just my subjective opinion on Ed Sheeran, and well, these people are quite obviously wrong. He doesn't have a toxic masculinity problem. But let's get into the article, shall we? And this was written by Chloe Stillwell. And well, Chloe, I'd love to know what you have to say about this. I hope you've brought all your intellectual guns for this battle, because believe me, you're gonna need them. Most women have probably encountered the otherworldly scorn of a male underdog. Yes, confident Bernie bros and fresh Deloitte recruits will definitely do chauvinistic things like introduce you to their moms, only to ghost you and hit you up a month later for a 3 a.m. booty call. So, because allegedly some men who are apparently underdogs because they happen to support Bernie Sanders, oh, nice to see that you're again trying to smear these people as Bernie bros. Obviously, a Hillary supporter has written this article, and I don't know what a Deloitte recruit is. I assume that's some kind of university. I could be wrong, but there is a university with a similar name. And apparently, a chauvinistic thing is to introduce you to their mother and then not talk to you for a month, as if, you know, there might be other reasons why they're not talking to you for a month. Could be lack of internet, or, you know, maybe they are dicks, and that those things do happen. But also, you do realise that you also have to talk to them. They can't just simply go and talk to you every single day, right? But hey, apparently that's chauvinistic, to hit you up a month later for a 3 a.m. booty call, right? Okay, I mean, that is rude, but it's not chauvinistic, considering a woman could easily do it if she wanted to. But let's continue, people. But underdogs, and by that I mean men who have never felt sufficient physically, sexually, socially or professionally cut deep. I don't think that's what an underdog is. I'm pretty sure an underdog would be somebody who has been cut deep by these things. When you date an underdog, he'll gleefully go down on you for hours and tell you the best sex he's ever had until you break up with him, after which he'll call you a slut on Facebook. He'll twist your words to prove you're evil and post images with other women on Instagram to get your attention. In Ed Sheeran's case, he'll write reductive revenge songs that are low-key misogynistic while slurring in interviews about all the women who've been kind enough to fuck him. I don't know if he actually does this, because on his most recent album, they've not really been many songs like that. I mean, why can't he sing about women who have broken his heart? And yes, during bad breakups, these things do happen. I've done it in bad breakups. I just unleash my anger into a post on Facebook, and then we'll probably regret it later on in life because you realise, they weren't, you were just angry. And I just like how this seems to be a uniquely male thing, even though women can also do the exact same thing that Ed Sheeran does, you know, trying to get their attention by posting pictures with other men or other women and write reductive revenge songs like Taylor Swift. Apparently Taylor Swift and also Adele can write these same songs but not be called misandrist and not have any problem, not be called toxically feminine or whatever the word is. It's like the only songs that these men can write are songs where they cozy up, mollycoddle and suck up to women. I mean, what? He's an artist. One, he has a full range of emotions, unlike you, and he will express those emotions. I don't like his music, and I don't know about the interviews. I mean, if they're asking him questions about women, he's going to answer them. How many female artists have done the same thing, talk about the men that they've had in their lives? We've all met an Ed Sheeran type. He's the kid in middle school who you knew would snap if the teacher chastised him in class. He's the guy at the office who sends emails that start to clarify. He's the guy who sells you pot and asks to smoke it with you. He's this guy. And it links to some shitty SNL skit that I don't particularly want to watch. So, yeah. I mean, I don't understand. There's people like this. And I'm pretty sure Ed Sheeran isn't that type from what I've seen. He seems like just a normal guy who's become famous. But then again, that's the thing. They're demonising normal men for doing normal human things. And trying to say that only men do this. And apparently this is a toxic masculinity problem. Yes, Ed Sheeran is that kind of guy. And all grown up and famous now, he's proving that success and wealth can't fix a deeply broken ego. Consider his current press tour for his latest album. Funnily enough, entitled Divide, released last week. You do know all his albums are named after mathematic terms, right? It has nothing to do with division of people. I mean, who knows? You can look into the meaning, but I'm pretty sure he's probably a maths nerd and likes to name his albums after math terms. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. The whole Dog and Pony show has been a raging mess of toxic masculinity, and his hit songs always have been too. You see, I like how she thinks she knows Ed Sheeran. She can look deep into his psyche and can glean from song lyrics and interviews that this is what he's like. Even though songs don't necessarily have to be from his point of view, he might be taking on a character. Like Filthy Frank will sing songs in characters other than Pink Guy or Filthy Frank. And also in interviews, he might just be putting something on, or might not be himself because he's either tired or he's sick of the journalists or just being a bit of a dick to them, which has happened. John Lydon, for example, did that all the time, still does it. You have no idea what Ed Sheeran is like as a person. You're just asserting what he's like as a person. I actually tried to address this 3 years ago when his song Don't hit the radio, but my editor at the time told me he just wasn't seeing it. Well, you know, I don't blame him. He's a sane person who isn't seeing this crazy toxic masculinity that you've dreamt up of Ed Sheeran having. Look, you don't like his music. You don't like him as a person, mainly because he's a guy. That's fine. Go ahead and hate him. But to smear him this way, to say he's sexist and a misogynist and has a toxic masculinity problem because you don't like his music and you don't like him as a person, you don't like his gender. Really, Chloe? You're going to do this? Really? Don't be surprised if he writes a song like about this and roasts you on an eternal hellfire. I would buy that song if it happens, which I doubt will happen, because I doubt he even cares what you're saying. He's making too much money and having too much success, and I think that is what hurts you more, am I right? The rampant misogyny of Don't, however, is plain in the lyrics. The first verse glorifies him calling a girl he just met another mistake, and then goes into a long rant about being confused about her intentions, all because he can't figure out whether she wants to fuck him or just be friends. There's no attempt to think that perhaps she wants to do both, or that a woman's desires can change over time. How is that misogynistic? Everybody has had experiences like that where you get mixed signals from some person. You don't know if they want to be with you or not be with you, or if they want to be serious or not serious. How is that misogynistic? That is literally expressing emotions and experiences that people go through throughout their lives, unless they're asexual, in which case they most likely won't have this kind of experience. Honestly, he's speaking about real life, and that is misogynist as well. It's real life. At the time of its release, it was rumoured that the song was about Taylor Swift because of the line, "Me and her, we make money the same way. 4 cities, 2 planes the same day." Why would he write a sexualised slam of a woman who took him on tour and made his career, and who would later give him a standing ovation after he won a Grammy over her, has been highly criticised. Even worse, the last verse slut-shamed his anonymous tour mate for eventually having sex with another guy, while posturing the entire time that he doesn't even care. We don't need to take him to bed, that's all, and I never saw him as a threat. Suffice to say, Don't is one hormonal teen of a pop song. If it is about Taylor Swift, if that's only your interpretation, and he's never really expressed that as far as I'm aware, well, so what? If she cheated on him, she is the one who's in the wrong. And maybe he's just saying he doesn't care now. Maybe he cared at the time. I don't know. Who cares? That's his opinion. That's him expressing something that happened to him. It could have been anybody. It could have been someone who he worked with. It could have been the sound girl, for all we know. The point is, this song quite clearly is not sexist, even though you're trying to make it out it is. Taylor Swift is known for essentially getting into these short-term relationships and just dumping guys and writing songs and blaming everything on them. I mean, she is well worse than Ed Sheeran. Did you see how she just dumped Tom Hiddleston like that? And you're going to say Ed Sheeran has an issue? There's something remarkably different about the way Sheeran handles being a pop star compared to Bieber. Oh yes, Ed Sheeran is sane and tries to keep himself relatively grounded, whereas Bieber, he went for a while off the deep end. He just went completely crazy. The fame went to his head, partly because he was very young and he had yes men everywhere, and also who knows what else he was getting up to, like drugs or partying. Let's consider Justin Bieber's cheekily titled Love Yourself, co-written by Sheeran. Before being approved for radio play, the song was originally titled Fuck Yourself, and Sheeran has admitted that it's an angry letter to a girl who dumped him. In that song, Sheeran rips his ex for only sleeping with him for his money and fame, while again saying he was unbothered by all of it. You think you broke my heart? Oh girl, for goodness sake, you think I'm crying on my own? Well, I ain't. Is that any better than I will survive, I was petrified? Is that any different? Maybe he is someone who doesn't get hung up on these things. Maybe he just takes rejection and shit very easily, or maybe he's just trying to chest puff and make himself look like he isn't hurt when he probably is. Who knows? Who cares? Women have constantly written songs and sung songs exactly the same way to men, and in many ways have made even worse songs than that. But apparently it's okay when you do it. Love yourself, then wade into the stagnant, swampy waters of criticising women for feeling themselves too much with the lyrics. He's criticising one person. It's not all women. When he says you, he's talking about this individual who may or may not exist. It's not all women. One person that he's referring to and talking to in a song is not all women. Stop being a collectivist. Because if you like the way you look that much, oh baby, you can go and fuck yourself. Is it any better than Lily Allen singing fuck you very much? And in the song Smile, where she basically gives him a load of drugs and he ends up getting the shits. And I think even in the music video, I don't know if that was in the lyrics, she gets her friends to beat him up or to do something to him. How's that worse than that? Well, if you talk to her like that, she probably is loving herself a lot, because you probably don't know a clitoris from a belly button. I think that's a little bit of projection there, people. Let's just move on. The sentiment is wildly tone deaf in today's age of empowering feminist pop anthems like Worth It, Raw, Bang Bang, and most of Lemonade's tracklist that celebrate women who own their autonomy, looks and sexuality. But when a man does the same thing, when he takes umbrage with a person, when he calls them out for the bad things that they did, when he says, I am going to be strong, uptight and more moral than you, I am not going to let you get to my head in a song, when he does the exact same thing as Beyonce, as Taylor Swift and everybody else, that's misogynist. Because remember people, it's only okay when women and feminists do it, and it's bad when men do it, because men aren't allowed to be strong and to criticise women because misogyny. Because we can't have uppity men giving it to the women's, you see. We can't have them speaking bad about their betters, can we? This is essentially what she's saying. It's quite enough that women have to battle unrealistic beauty standards that force us to spend incredible amounts of money on our appearances. No. You choose to buy all these things to make yourself look better. Nobody forces you to do anything, and you are choosing to do these things, and that's on you. That's not on us. But then, to have to deal with a man like Sheeran, who prefers it if we'd play some coy Betty Draper shit instead of feel sexy and beautiful on our own, and only because we decided he wasn't the one, fuck that. Well, considering these women used and abused him, and cheated on him, and were very nasty to him, at least from the lyrics, I don't know if he's playing a character or just taking inspiration from other people. Why can't he criticise them? He's not saying that you have to be Betty Draper, that you have to be coy. He's just criticising them for treating him like shit. He's not saying they have to be a certain way. Maybe he wants them to be nice. Is that too much to ask? Now Sheeran is back with Shape of You, a song romanticising women's bodies from the male gaze. Oh, the male gaze. Oh, he finds a woman attractive. He's trying to be sexy in a song. Is that any different to the loads of other songs out there by female artists and does that same thing to men? Oh no, wait, there's no such thing as a female gaze, and men can't be objectified, obviously. And if you are a feminist who thinks that men can be, it's patriarchy backfiring, obviously, because patriarchy, they totally objectify other straight men, right? And with unimaginative notes that are incredibly similar to Sire's Cheap Thrills. No shit, he's not a genius. Because for Sheeran, it seems to be either pussy or brains, never both. You don't know that. You're just asserting that. Get out of it. Giving the singer his first Billboard #1, the song is driving enthusiasm for the North American World Divide tour he's now promoting. A press junket that's been one nauseating spin after another on its own. He also did a track with Rudimental called Lay It All On Me, I think. I might be wrong. That's a song which, yeah, there might be an element of lust to it. There might be some kind of intense attraction to the person he's singing to. But he's saying, you've got all these problems, if you need someone to talk to, lay it all on me. I'll be there. That doesn't sound like somebody who hates women. That doesn't sound like somebody who wants them to be a particular way. That seems like somebody who empathises and sympathises with their experiences. I don't know who wrote the lyrics to that song. It could have been Rudimental, could have been Sheeran. But the fact he sang the song suggests that maybe he does kind of believe in that kind of thing. He's whined about Forbes featuring him in its 2015 list of wealthiest celebrities because it caused him to lose friends, saying, I was getting texts from people with pictures of cars going, I'd like this for my birthday please. This one's only 0.06% of your annual income. Again, you're criticising him for being treated like shit by his friends and by people that he's been in love with. How is this any of his fault? If he's got people who just see him as a cash cow and he decides I'm not going to be their friend, how is that a bad thing? He might be whining about it, but I think that's a legitimate whine, if you ask me. He's also been turning a drinking story with Justin Bieber. Biebs balanced a golf ball in his mouth, told Sheeran to hit it off, and Sheeran accidentally knocked Bieber's face instead into a rebel without a cause brawl, wherein he flexes his masculine dominance, saying, I got drunk and cracked Justin Bieber in the face. Worst of all, he's now gracing the cover of Rolling Stone and showing off his comically tattooed arms along the headline, Boozy Nights and Mega Hits. Yes, his tattoos are shit. I don't think you understand how male banter works, or how a man usually tells a drunken story. This is him bantering about Justin Bieber. This is a funny story that both of them would find absolutely hilarious. Like, I once got capoeira kicked in the face by a friend. We laugh about it. It's not an issue. It was an accident. He's not flexing his masculine dominance. They were drunk. They did something stupid, like men do, and Justin Bieber got hurt, but it's okay, because they're mates, they were drunk, and it's funny. If you think banter and drunken escapades is something with male dominance, I don't know how you have male friends. I don't know how you have male partners if you're inclined that way. I don't know how you function in a world with men, because everything we do seems to be an act against women. I don't know how you live. In that cover story, journalist Patrick Doyle rightfully does nothing to cover up the immaturity and machismo he witnessed over a bender in London with the singer. Machismo? No, it's just it's what people do. We do stupid things when we're drunk, and we laugh about it with our friends. Sheeran has been going hard tonight. Espresso martinis and rum punch shots at dinner, gin and tonics at the bar. It's my birthday, and at one point he grabs my phone, takes a selfie of us and posts to my Instagram writing, it's my birthday, bitches. Hashtag London, hashtag believe, blah, 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 Doyle writes. He's celebrating the guy's birthday and getting drunk. In fact, you're making Ed Sheeran look like a great party. You're making him look great here. I'd love to go out with Ed Sheeran. He seems like fun. Even if I don't like his music, he actually seems like a nice guy here. So thank you for doing the complete opposite of what you're trying to do here with this smear piece. Doyle rightfully suggests that aside from Bieber, Sheeran is the biggest male pop star alive. I don't know, Kendrick Lamar, I know he's hip hop, but he's pretty big. There's quite a few massive male stars. Ed Sheeran isn't the only one. Bieber isn't the only one. And there's a fair few people from 10 years, 20 years, 30 years that probably sell more than them, but I don't know. But there is something remarkably different about the way Sheeran handles being a pop star compared to Bieber and others like Adam Levine, Justin Timberlake, and yes, even Drake. These are all the right kinds of men. These are the men that this woman wants all men to be like. Well, I'm sorry, but men are individuals, and men will do whatever it is that they want to do, whether you like it or not. In a word, his persona feels forced. While a big glossy magazine profile that chronicles all-night parties at his manor and tales of Elton John coming over for dinner might make it seem like Ed Sheeran is a fucking big deal. It never seems like the singer himself actually believes it. Hashtag believe. Perhaps it's just because of the truth that lives on paper. Sheeran is just getting a #1 hit of his own and only now headlining an American tour, which Bieber, Drake, Levine and Timberlake have done for years, and in the case of this latter two, for decades. Well, firstly, Ed Sheeran first became prominent in his own country of the United Kingdom. He's already had several number ones here. He's had several number one albums. And I don't know if you know how success works in the music industry, especially if you're not American, because this is a very American-centric thing. Like, she's just discovered who he was and hates him. Even I know more than her, and I don't like his music. I don't follow him at all. He's now crossing over, and that's his first American number one, which is very hard to get. Not everyone is the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. Drake, Levine, and Timberlake, quite rightly, have more success in America at the moment, because one, well, Drake's Canadian, and is closer to the American market anyway, and is in hip-hop, and again, has just simply been around longer. They've all been around longer, they've had more success, especially Timberlake, for example. Ed Sheeran is relatively new and just coming into his own and breaking the American market. There's no comparison here, this is a false equivalence. Conceptually, pop star is not the top descriptor falling out of mouths when people label Sheeran. That term, after all, indicates a kind of effortless sex appeal and charisma, a discography of critically acclaimed earworms, and most importantly, a public persona that is at once both relatable and mystical. Well, not necessarily. Justin Bieber is not critically acclaimed. He might have a few songs that people like, but I would not say he is acclaimed, would you? It takes a special kind of pop star to be mystical and relatable, like David Bowie, for example. He's not really a pop star Ed Sheeran anyway, because he's a singer-songwriter. He's kind of a different genre in many ways. He has crossover appeal, and he's become successful doing that, which is good on him. To be fair, I have no issue with that. In 2013, when People named him a sexiest man alive, Sheeran felt it was necessary to come out and say it was ridiculous, instead of just owning it with some ginger pride. So now when he's not, going around talking about how he's been to parties and having drunken, funny moments with Bieber and criticising people who've fucked him over in his life, that's bad. But then it's also bad when he's humble. All throughout the article, you've tried to make him out like he's this arrogant, pompous person who is a sexist, but the one moment he shows any humility, you criticise him. What do you want him to be? Do you want him to be this horrible caricature of what a lad is, or whatever the American equivalent is, a bro? Or do you want him to be humble? Make your mind up. You can't even be consistent in your own little smear piece. That's not very Timberlake, or even Joey Fatone. I don't know who Joey is, but I've never seen Timberlake as that arrogant either. As a person who responds to criticism with, I could give a fuck about what people think, anytime anyone has a problem with me, I'm just like my heroes like me. The people I started music for are fans of my music, so why the fuck would I care about what anyone else thinks? Sheeran is certainly aggressively battling something. You've not even mentioned anything that he's battling. You're again just asserting. Because of that, he sometimes comes off as a sad and out of control. How? Just because he's been partying hard? We've all partied hard. We've all had silly drunken escapades. We've all had moments where we're being humble and not trying to brag or anything like that. How is he coming across as sad and out of control? And his attempts to own that in both his music and his interviews is what makes it feel like he's dealing with a serious case of toxic masculinity, one that is constantly fueled by binge drinking and sex. A typical normal British person. Right, that's toxic masculinity now. A normal British man who binge drinks and has sex. That is toxic masculinity. Well, I would say more, but not my place. In his Rolling Stone interview, Sheeran speaks of how sexually available Taylor's friends on tour seem to be to him. I was this 22-year-old, awkward British kid going on tour with the biggest artist in America, who has all his famous mates, he says. It was very easy. He continues to wax on about Swift throughout, saying, we've gotten matching Scottish folds, made each other arts and crafts Christmas presents, vacationed with our families, and had each other's backs. So Swift's approval should override his reality being brought into question, proving both that he's willing to use a woman for credibility and that they're both equally noxious. Nothing in that suggests he's trying to use them. If anything, the things that you've quoted people doing to him is the ones that suggest that they're the ones who are willing to use him. And he has to answer the questions that are given to him. Well, he doesn't have to, but he's doing so anyway. The journalists ask him about her. He's not the one who's doing it because he wants to. They probably asked him about Taylor Swift. I've heard countless stories, I'm sure you've heard countless stories. With musicians, they seem to be followed by these people who just want to have a bit of action with them. Considering that Pitchfork gave Divider a 2.8 rating and scathing review, yeah, it's Pitchfork. Who gives a shit? They give everything either a mediocre review or a 2.8 rating if it doesn't abide by their hipster problem glasses standards. It doesn't seem like this record, or what will likely be a tour of stadiums filled with soccer moms and 15-year-olds, are going to boost Sheeran's confidence. I don't think he gives a shit. He's making money from something that he loves, doing incredibly well. He's liked by his peers enough to collaborate with them. I don't think he needs a confidence boost. In the meantime, One pro tip I have to offer the future Ed is to quit trashing women. Oh yeah, stop criticising these individuals that he has mentioned in songs. Not even name dropped, not saying who they are, they might not even exist. Talking about Taylor Swift when he's asked about her. Yeah, don't criticise them because that's verboten. You may be a guy who likes to up your allure by making it known how easy it is for you to reject women, but honestly, most of us just remember you as a guy who shouted on stage. I think she means shitted on stage. Now, I don't know if that actually happened, and if it did, so what? If this is one big criticism, then really this shows your own toxic femininity, that you are attacking him for rejecting women as if he's not allowed to do that, as if consent is only a one-way street. Only women can consent, or rather women don't have, women don't have to consent, but men do. That's pretty toxic if you ask me, and I'm not into toxic femininity or toxic masculinity at all. I don't think they exist. And no, that shit wedding song, Thinking Out Loud, which is so coolly mentions how crowds remember his name, don't make up for anything. The next time you feel like asserting yourself over a woman, here's a word of advice: don't. Oh, great joke. Oh, great play on words. I never thought about that one. It's funny that, because he's not asserting himself over anyone. That implies something deep, almost as if you're trying to say he's a rapist or something. No, he's not asserting himself, he's criticising them. If anything, he's trying to be strong. He's trying not to make them walk all over him. But you want women to walk all over him. You want women to walk all over men. You want this toxic relationship between men and women because that gives you control. You don't like that. But anyway, I think this is the end of the article. I could go on. I've gone on far enough. There was so much in this. I mean, this is a reason why Playboy is just losing readership because of bullshit like this. I don't know why men would be reading this. This did not seem like an article for men, even though Playboy is a men's magazine. It seems like she's trying to write to women, and you can see why they're just completely and utterly fucked. Ed Sheeran does not have a toxic masculinity problem. Ed Sheeran is a normal human being with normal human emotions and does normal human things. And she's criticising him for doing that because he's a man. And he's a famous man who doesn't take shit, apparently. And she's tried to smear him, tried to make him out to be this horrible person, but she's made him look better as a result. Because you see him and go, oh, I'd love to party with him and have a cocktail with him and play golf on people's faces with him. It sounds like a blast. But anyway, that's it from me. Like and share the video, subscribe to my channel, donate to my Patreon if you want to. Until next time, I'll see you all later.